Buick Century, and we're gonna change the front brakes and rotors on this car. Alright, first you guys are gonna have a cover here, right? This is the cover we're looking at. You're just gonna pry that off with a screwdriver. Once you have that off, this thing here is plastic, alright? It's like a hubcap, and these are plastic lugs here. So all you do is slowly loosen this, alright? And it comes right off. Once you have that off, you have access to the lug nuts. We're gonna remove these lug nuts. I know that was a little too late, I already had started it, but alright. Then you can take this tire off. Now we have access to the front brakes, the rotor, and the caliper. I'll move my light over to this side, just like that. Let me see if I get a better angle. What I'm gonna do next is we're gonna remove the bolts on this caliper, right? We can remove one and flip the caliper over. Can you give me 15 from there? So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to take number 15, this is 15 back here. I'm going to remove this bolt. Just like that. Alright. There we have the caliper. The bolt is the pin itself. Alright, it goes all the way through. Usually when you brake, these things move in and out a little bit. Same thing on the top. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take a pry bar or a flathead screwdriver. We're going to yank this open. So just get a screwdriver or a pry bar, and we're going to pry this open a little bit. And once you have it open, you can push the piston a little bit, just like that. Alright, and then you lift up the caliper and you remove the caliper. Alright, the brake pads, I'm going to pull out these brake pads. The rotor is rusted in the back, there's like a lot of corrosion here. Alright, just pay attention to this sensor, right? This one I took off like that, so it was facing out. You just follow the same directions the way you took it out. What we'll do next is I'm going to compress this piston here. I'll take my brake pads, the old one, and I'll push this piston back. Alright, the caliper should go in smooth. And these pins, you always got to put a little bit of grease on it. Remove the number 15s here, alright? So you can get a wrench or a ratchet. Alright, they're a little tight. Let me go get a longer tool. A longer one. Alright. I'm going to remove the one on the top also. Alright, let me get these out, and then we'll take off the rotor. Once you have one out, you gotta hold this. Sometimes make sure that you don't drop the caliper because the rotor's gonna move now. Alright, this is out. And once you have both bolts out, you're going to have the bracket out. and then you can remove the rotor and throw out the old rotor. We'll put a new rotor here. Alright guys, we got the new disc. Here's the new disc. Let me move up my camera a little bit so we can see. Here's the new disc, and we're gonna put the disc onto the car. So make sure the surface here is clean and the hub is clean, and make sure the rotor is the same size, and make sure you clean the surface. They usually come with oil on both sides. And once you have that all that done, all you do is you take this rotor and you put the disc on just like that. And after that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this bracket on. Sometimes it comes with a new hardware here, sometimes the brakes does not come with it. And if it doesn't come with it, just make sure you clean it nice and clean with a wire brush. Alright guys, I have my new brake pads, and this is the brand I usually use, Monroe, and I always never had a problem with these. And that's the part number CX699. Alright, I like to use a lot of these. They come with everything pretty much. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna replace this shims here. This is called the hardware kit. So these brake pads come with the new one. What I like to do is I like to clean the surface a little bit here. You can use a wire brush or a file or a sandpaper, whatever works best for you. Alright, just clean that surface up. And after that, I'm gonna go get my hardware kit. So I'll take the hardware kit. So this just sticks right in, alright? This is just a little metal pieces. So all you do, you stick them in there. And they pretty much align themselves. There's like a little clip here, and the clip here is part of it. They fit perfectly in there, right? So same thing on the opposite side. Just push them in, make sure they're nice and flush. Alright, there you go. I got them both in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over to the car, and we're going to put this onto the hub, onto the spindle. Alright guys, I got my camera set up. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this, the bracket, and we're going to put the two number 15s. One on the top, one on the bottom. Just like that. Alright, so these are the two bolts here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten both of these nice and tight, alright? Nice and tight. Torque them if you can. If you have any questions, you can message me. If you have a different type of vehicle, you can ask me any questions you have, any information you need. And make sure you subscribe my channel. Alright, there we have it. So this is tight. We got the rotor in, we got the hardware kit in. Push the rotor in and turn it, alright? Make sure it's not scraping on this. Alright, after that, test drive it so you're not scraping anywhere, right? So let me bring my camera over this way a little bit. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna put the brake pads in. These are the brake pads. Remember this little fella right here? The little sensor here? The brake indicator, the rear indicator. On the one we took out is facing out. We're gonna use the same setup we had, right? So we're gonna put this. You see how my brake pad goes right in smoothly? Make sure your brake pad goes in smoothly. A lot of times you have to hit it here, tap it to get that in there. That's no good. That means the brake's gonna be jammed. You can file it a little bit there. You can file the edges here, right? But that's why I use Monroe's. They fit pretty good. Sometime once in a while, even these, they jam up a little bit, and I do file them. So next, what we're gonna do next is We're gonna bring the caliper over. You see caliper, I got it sitting in the top. Before that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some grease. I like to put a little bit of grease on these brake pads. All right, just like that. And then I'll put some grease on this pin. And then I'll do the same thing on the other one, the one from the bottom here. They look pretty dry. What this is gonna do is it's gonna help it slide a little better. All right, so let me keep this pin to the side. And I'll take this caliper and bring it down just like that. Alright, sometimes it doesn't sit well, just push the brakes in. Sometimes you need to compress the piston a little bit more. Let me see if I can compress that piston a little bit more in. You have to compress? No. Oh, shit. Alright guys, my phone rang, but I'm back. So this caliper doesn't want to go in because it's hitting these two little knobs. Sometimes you need to push the caliper in a little bit more than what it is already. So I'll just try to compress a little bit more. Let's see if it goes any further. Alright, so it did go about a 1/4 inch more. Sometimes when you compress this and then you go to the other side, this comes out, alright? So be careful. You see that? It goes right in now. And pay attention to this little rubber here. Down here, there's a rubber boot. Let me go down with my camera. The little rubber in here. Make sure you don't squeeze it or bend it. And make sure you get it back to where it's supposed to be at. Alright, so we're pretty much done here. I'm trying to align this bolt with the rubber boot. See, this is a little boot in here. Just gotta find the gap in there. Alright, so we're pretty much almost done. Let me bring my light over a little bit. And then the last thing you're gonna do is you're gonna tighten this number 15 here. If you're losing the bolt on the top here, make sure you tighten that too. And make sure this line here is nice and straight. Sometimes when you twist this caliper, you twist it back. This line is like twisted. All right, that will cause a restriction, cause a spongy brake pedal. All right, there we have it. Let's take a better look at it. 2003 Buick. How to change front brakes and rotors. If you have this similar car, you can follow this similar procedure. And if you have a different car, you can subscribe my channel and you can message me. I'll give you all the information you need. Alright, after this, guys, you can put the tire on. But to put this cap on, make sure you hand tighten these, alright? You cannot put a gun on it. You can take it all with the impact gun because it's just a plastic. If you go too hard at it, it's gonna break, crack. Don't do that, alright? Just do it by hand. Grab a socket and just tighten them in order. But before that, put the tire on, put the lug nuts on, and then put this on.